Hello and welcome to the Switchrpg podcast. I am one of your hosts, Gio, and I'm joined by just Jonny. What's going on? Hey.
Doing good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was just over here.
Yeah.
It's a short week.
Very short.
For us. We recorded late last week, and here we are, back on track.
Yeah, because last week was like 2 weeks and like 2 days.
Yeah. So we had a lot of catching up to do. But today we do still have some stuff for you guys. So it'll be great. If this is your first time listening to the show from Switchrpg, where we bring you the latest in the world of RPGs on the Nintendo Switch. This week, we're talking about some Witcher news, as well as you're applying for a RPG position. I'm sneaking this in on you.
What?
You're applying for a job.
Okay, cool.
All right. First off, I want to promote our Discord and some of our patrons. Discord.switchrpg.com. We have a AMA coming up very, very soon. I think it's this Saturday. We have the developers of Skellboy coming. I think that is 10 or 11 a.m.
On what day?
On Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yes, check our Twitter account.
Awesome.
It's there, pinned tweet. Check it out. I should have that in front of me. If I was a little more responsible, I would have already had that pulled up. But I also want to thank our patrons. I want to thank Hedge Knight Mike, DJ Atkins, Michael C, Sequel Violist, and that's all I have for right now.
Did I mess you up by scrolling?
Yeah, you are very much messing me up by scrolling. Thank you so much.
That's all right.
What are you playing? I mean, it's only been a few days.
A few days.
Anything new? Any beaten games to report? Because you were on a roll for a little bit.
Yeah, nothing. You didn't give me enough time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I'd give you enough time. You should have beaten Fire Emblem twice already.
Oh man, that game is so long. Playing more Radiant Historia.
Yep.
More Outer Worlds. Legend of Runeterra, which I have now officially gotten my full gist of what that game is.
That is the card game.
The card game from the League of Legends Riot Games.
Okay.
It's the champions you get in there are the League of Legends heroes that you're playing as and stuff like that, and like the creep, and I guess other things that are in that big giant world that they have created. It's real good.
Okay.
It is a good, solid game. There is RNG, so more so than what I reported last time.
Sure.
So I don't know how it's going to fare in a long-term sort of competitive side, but at the very least, competitively, it's not as RNG heavy as Hearthstone.
Right.
There's still like a little bit of some quirks and bugginess, but it's still in beta. But it plays pretty well. The mechanics are pretty good and solid. It's like a faster paced Magic the Gathering, but with Hearthstone like ease to get into it. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Do
you think this has some staying power? I know it has Riot Games. It has League of Legends behind it.
Yeah.
But there have been others that have tried. Like you had Bethesda. They really tried to get a card game out there. Then you have Gwent. I mean, Gwent still kind of exists, but they're not.
Gwent has a presentation issue. It lacks like pizzazz. Like Gwent is solid, but it's a game of numbers.
Yeah.
It's not like fun. There's no like interesting mechanics. You're really just crunching numbers. It feels very Euro. And Legends, right? Elder Scrolls Legends.
Yeah.
That one lacked a worthwhile meta system. Also lacked pizzazz, and the mechanics were just a little bit too. I know it had the 2-side system, but the mechanics weren't interesting or engaging enough, and it was still kind of RNG based. It just it wasn't a good game. Mm-hmm. The fundamental design just wasn't good enough. And Artifact is one that you missed. And Artifact is probably the worst one of them all. Artifact is bad.
Maybe I chose not to
yeah,
bring that one up.
I just want to always bring up Artifact because of how bad it was.
Yeah.
It was just so
well, and maybe it was just kind of we had the same thing with the Battle Royale thing. Like everyone had a Battle Royale mode or whatever. Then everyone had like a card game they wanted to put out.
There's been so many card games since 2014's release of Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
It's vomit worthy.
Yeah, so I mean, I hope it has staying power because I want to see something else kind of compete with Hearthstone.
This one's good. This one will definitely compete with Hearthstone, but I think for the most part, the zeitgeist of card games is kind of over, but I'm glad this one's out because it's actually good. I uninstalled it though.
What?
Just a heads up, I uninstalled it.
Why?
I'm done. I'm done playing with it. Like it's the same degree of Hearthstone. It is a more interesting than Hearthstone. There's better mechanics so far, but it's still like it lacks content and all that, which is fine. Like,
Well, it's still relatively new.
it's just not something I want to play for the long term, right? I don't want to get into that hook again, that sort of that hole, and to play it over again and try to get the daily login bonuses and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. It's all a trap,
chore.
and I'm done with that trap.
Yeah.
But it is a good game.
Yeah, I could see your reasoning behind that, not to get stuck into something like that.
If I was 10 years younger, or if I wasn't working, or if I was a Twitch streamer, I would get behind this game. If I was like a bona fide Twitch streamer, I would get behind this game as long as there's an audience, or I'd try to develop an audience for it.
Sure.
Because it is early on, and I think this game is worthwhile to play as like a Twitch streamer that wants to get good at a card game.
Sure.
They don't have the crazy motor skills that you need.
Right.
So
That would be me.
Yeah.
It's my kind of game.
if this was me, back when I was heavy into Hearthstone, if this game came out during that time, I would totally pick up this game and run with it.
Yeah, I'm no good at card games. So I'm glad that, someone here is. Thanks for asking. I've been playing.
I played a few other stuff.
No, it's not even on the list.
It is right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is on the list. My apologize. Go ahead.
I've been playing the Banner Saga on Switch.
Yeah?
The first one.
The first one. Yeah, I mean, did they all come as a collection? Or did you buy them individually?
I was hoping to buy the collection, but they haven't listed the collection yet. So
right.
I bought them individually. There was a really good sale on the first and second where they were only $5 each.
Yeah.
So I just grabbed those, and the third one I think was like $15, and I didn't want to get it because I want to actually like play and beat the first and second.
Yeah.
And when that happens, and I still like it, then I'll go into the third.
Well, you definitely need to play them in order because the story continues.
And the decisions you make.
Right. Can carry over.
Yeah.
But you can jump right into the middle, but it really makes no sense to do that.
Did you play all three?
I played the first and the second one.
Okay.
I did not play the third one. I actually have the physical version of it. Really, I love the presentation. I love the art style. I think it's a little too slow for my taste.
It is slow.
But it is very good story wise. It is there. I liked it. You think it's too shallow for you?
No, the dialogue is badly written.
No.
Yeah, it is. It's like someone didn't know how to translate to English.
It's a possibility. Who is
the dialogue is weird. Some of the sentences just don't make sense.
They don't make sense.
They're you have to kind of figure out what they're actually trying to say or what they're actually referring to.
I gotcha.
So like the dialogue choices could have been in phrasing of things could have been done better. And the UI is a bit clunky.
Yeah, it was stoic. That's what I thought it was. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
The UI is definitely clunky, and I think that adds to some of my
That's the worst part.
Frustration with it being kind of slow. It's I don't know. But for the most part, I love the art style and presentation for it. Yeah. But it is very slow and kind of clunky, though. Yeah, I would agree.
And the art style is really good. The presentation of it is okay because not everything is super animated. And don't get me wrong, like animating that art style is an effort. So it's all very impressive. But a little disappointing when it came to like the lack of like a polished sort of control and feel for interacting with the characters during combat.
I want to say some of that gets better.
I hope so.
I think it does.
Yeah.
From what I'm remembering.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just it's clunky.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
And Smash, because Byleth is now playable in Smash.
Meh.
That's an RPG character.
Well, one of many in that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know the different modes, I think, right? There's different weapons you can use.
Well, it's not a different mode. It's all it's all part of how the character controls.
Mm-hmm.
Different parts of your moveset Byleth will use different weapons for that particular button combination. So your neutrals are your bow and your side abilities, depending on if it's a tilt or a smash, is going to be the sword or the spear. And your down abilities, as long as it's not a tilt, like your down smash, your down special, those are the big giant heavy axe thing, and also your down air. So you change up your weapon based on that. It feels like a heavy character because it's a very slow character. Not like the slowest, but it is a slow character. Hits like a truck.
Really?
Yeah, most of the moves hit really hard. It's a weird, quirky character to use. It's almost like, and the recovery is like Joker, but better. Except with Arson. Arson's really good. Character plays pretty good.
Okay.
It doesn't play like another Fire Emblem character. It definitely plays like its own character, with elements of like Joker and other stuff. That staff, that side special, you cover so much range. It's real good.
You're saying a lot of words.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah. It's good. It requires like way more practice.
Yeah.
And they're, just looking at some of the videos that I've been seeing of like the pros sort of trying to break down the character. There are some crazy combos that you can do with that character, but you can very clearly, just from playing that character, you can very clearly identify, this character's not overpowered because they are slower. Their grab doesn't have a really good range, but they are good at spacing, and I'm not a good spacer, or I'm not a good judge of spacing between my character and the opponent. So it's a character that you have to get practice to get good with.
Have you played any online?
Yeah, that's all I did.
That's okay.
As soon as I loaded up that game, because you got to play that game against someone. Playing against the AI, whatever. So I went online and I did some, Smash online stuff with randos.
I would just get annihilated.
You get annihilated.
And just when I think I'm like, okay, I'm really good. This is my character. And then you just go online and just.
But they have a ranking system, so you'll eventually drop down.
They match you up.
Well, you get global Smash power,
all right,
and it'll drop as you start to do bad, and then
okay.
eventually you'll hit other people who are also bad, and then you'll feel good because you're winning against them.
All right, okay. Well, I have the game. Yeah. I really just wanted it for that special edition controller. That's just the way I am. You been playing anything else, Jonny?
No, that's it. What have you been playing?
Oh, well, thank you so much for asking. Pretty much the same games as last week. Divinity: Original Sin. And the reason is, I'm playing those games. I also just got a new Witcher game, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of. This is kind of a little off topic. A lot of 3D printing. I got myself a resin printer, and I've been just playing around with that and printing all sorts of things for my tabletop sessions.
Yeah.
Because my DM wants monsters, and I've been printing all sorts of monsters, and I kind of regret it a little bit because I know I'm going to have to fight those monsters that I'm printing out. But I mean, I'm just having so much fun kind of experimenting and putting things together. I can't model, so I'm basically just going on myminifactory.com or Thingiverse and just printing things out. But yeah, I've been tinkering with that like nobody's business. Printing I just printed Olaf for my daughter. She absolutely loves it. I ain't painting it though because my painting skills are terrible. I'll see if I can have my DM. He's a painter, so I'll have him do it.
You need very delicate hands.
Yeah, I got non-delicate hands,
yeah.
And my son wanted Mario, so I printed up Mario for him.
Okay, how big was the piece?
They're about maybe 3-4 inches.
Can you once you grab a model, can you scale it to a larger piece?
Yep,
okay.
you can scale. I can scale it to whatever I want. I mean, some of the minis and the monsters I've been doing it all based off of 28 millimeters, which is your standard height for a regular mini character. So
28 millimeters. That's like what, 1 inch?
Something, yeah, about that. The base is 1 inch, so it's a little bit more than that.
All right. That's small.
It is small.
Yeah.
They're all small. It's yeah. So it's been fun.
How much is like refilling your plastic juice?
Plastic juice. So there are two different types of printers. I got one that uses plastic juice or resin, and then there's other ones that are fed with a filament, so a plastic wire, I guess you could call it. So the one I have is the resin. A bottle of 1,000 or 1 liter or 1,000 milliliters is $30.
And how quickly do you imagine going through?
I have
how many printed Marios?
Well, a printed Mario takes up 60 mLs. So
60 milliliters. Okay.
Math that out.
Drop the 1.
Yeah. So
add 50.
It depends on how much volume you're using.
It's about 20.
Okay. So I can make 20 Marios.
That's a very rough estimate. It's a little less than 20.
But I could make multiple Marios at a time. I could, if I wanted to. My build plate is probably maybe 4x6, so that's my surface area where I can build from. But I could stack a few Marios on there.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, I've been head deep in that stuff right now. Also playing games, the same games, but whatever.
Yeah.
Don't judge me.
Yeah, the same game. So
Divinity. I haven't touched Star Ocean in a little bit. Skellboy
and the Witcher game.
The new Witcher game, which I haven't even touched. I got it today. And Ember. Ember's that CRPG I talked about. Yeah. And I'm still kind of feeling Ember because I think
feeling it in a good way or a bad way.
I don't know. I think I'm noticing that I don't really like old school CRPGs. I think
you mentioned this last year.
Yeah, I think it's determined, and it's determined that that's it.
Just don't play bad ones.
Don't play bad ones. Well,
don't play bad ones.
What the heck? I played Pillars of Eternity. Everyone talks about how good it was, but I played the Switch port. It was just loaded with problems.
You got to play it. First off, you got to play it on PC for almost all of them.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense.
Unless they were ported over really well.
Which I haven't found that. I played Wasteland 2, again, another game that people praise, and I was just kind of meh. Yeah. Everything looks green and brown and tan.
Diablo is a computer RPG?
Well, it's not available on the Switch.
Yeah, it is.
Diablo 3?
Yeah.
That's on
Switch.
That's not a CRPG.
Technically, it's a computer
RPG. Don't give me technically.
It's got an isometric view.
That's an isometric action RPG. Don't go.
It's just very actiony.
Oh,
no pause button.
I played so much Diablo 3.
Yeah, that's totally on Switch.
I played it on Switch.
Okay.
I have a whole series. I did a whole playthrough of the Barbarian and a bunch of other videos. It's just I need a good CRPG, and I really want Pillars of Eternity 2, which has amazing voice actors. It's fully voiced as far as I know. It's just not here yet. And I've already seen some reviews because I think it just came out on console.
Yeah, you're talking about Deadfire.
Right, Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. That just came out on console, and apparently like the load time's like ridiculous.
Ridiculously bad or good?
Long.
Oh. Huh.
Very, very, very long. I don't know how it's rated overall, but I did hear that is already bad. So I don't know.
Porting to console from computer, it is a challenge because the interface. If you're making something for PC, right, strictly for PC, you're typically leveraging that keyboard and mouse setup.
I tell you what, though, Divinity Original Sin 2. I know that's, to me personally, I don't consider it a CRPG. I consider it more of a turn-based.
It's totally a CRPG.
I understand that. It just feels very different when you're playing it.
Yeah.
And they absolutely nail the controller.
Yeah, well, they cared. That is, you could tell, that's a studio that cares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it shows in the final result. And I don't know, I've probably talked to you about this before. Like, was it them? Did they, Larian, port to the Switch, or did they hand it off to another studio?
No, they ported it off, because I remember listening to I don't remember the main developer's name. I don't remember his name, but I heard an interview with him saying they did it in-house, and they initially started it. they weren't successful at all, and then they broke it a little bit.
Oh, that's right. I think I heard that. It was on a podcast, right?
It was on a podcast.
Yeah, I think I heard
so
that.
So they did like, all right, we got it playable for like the first 10 minutes, and then that 10 minutes turned into 30 minutes, and that 30 minutes turned into 4 hours of the game, and they just kept going at it and going at it and going at it. And because at one point they were like, this isn't going to work. And then
they got it to work.
They got it to work.
Yeah.
And it works flawlessly because I played it on Xbox, not PC. I'm not PC snob. I played it on Xbox. And I mean, other than graphically, there is a difference, obviously.
Yeah, it gets that dynamic resolution.
Yeah, obviously there's going to be a graphical difference, but otherwise it plays identical.
Yeah.
There's no difference. And there's some game modes that aren't available, but whatever. It works beautifully.
But they also injected some game modes. They injected something in there, right? Wasn't it like cross save?
Yeah, for cross save for your PC snobs.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. So speaking of The Witcher,
yep,
they released a new game.
Yeah.
I mean, this game game was already on other consoles, correct? I believe it was.
Definitely on PC. It came to PC first.
Okay.
I don't think it's simultaneously. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a PC release. The game released for PC, PS4, and Xbox One in 2018.
Yeah, so it was already on console, so we got the port, whatever it is, and it's called Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tales, and it's a different experience. It's a different Witcher experience. It's a single player. I want to call it isometric. It's got a very different art style. It's not a over the shoulder third person type of game. There is some card play in it, but it's not really based on the Gwent game.
Yeah.
So it is very, very different. If you're a fan of The Witcher, I mean, I totally recommend getting this. CD Projekt Red was nice enough to send me a copy of it, so I'll be playing that tonight. It's
got a cool art style.
Yeah, I'll be playing that tonight without a doubt, and I'm excited to get that going. So,
yeah, it looks good. It looks like it's 3D models in a 2D high definition sort of sprite, 2D assets.
Yeah, nothing like Octopath at all. I mean, that's kind of what you're describing.
No, that I would say is fully 3D. This is not 3D. This is a 2D game. Yeah. It does have a 3D. It looks like it has a 3D model.
Almost comic book
for the characters.
Like cell shaded almost.
Yeah, well, the art style's like comic art style. It's got very thick black line work everywhere. Yeah, it looks good. It has a skill tree system of sorts. You're collecting stuff.
So it's got some base building aspects to it, some card play. I'm not sure what the actual combat system is.
They got dragons.
There's always dragons, yeah.
Oh, and that looks like Gwent, man. You're saying it's not Gwent? That looks like Gwent.
No, I don't think it relies on Gwent. That's what I've been told, man. That's what I've been told.
It looks like they're playing Gwent.
It looks like they're playing Gwent.
It's been a while since I played Gwent, but that looks like Gwent.
It looks like Gwent.
It does, right?
It definitely does.
All right.
I just don't know how involved that is.
That's probably the combat system. Is when you enter battle, you play a game of Gwent. That look, I'm cool with that. That's fine. Like there's been plenty of other RPGs that leverage card games as the combat system. So
I'm really excited to play it.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. I will definitely.
I'm actually a little envious.
I think the price point's a little high. I think it's $20.
20? I don't think that's high.
You don't think that's high?
Nah.
Maybe I'm just being cheap.
Look at that artwork. This is quality.
It definitely. I mean, it's coming from a quality studio as well.
Quality studio. It looks like it's worth $20.
Okay. I don't know how much time I'm going to need to invest in this. I have zero clue. You know what other game I think would look really good in this sort of art style as like a Game of Thrones or something? I don't know why they don't do it. I don't know. Just
Game of Thrones in that art style?
In that art style.
They did.
They did?
The Telltale one, I think, is a very similar art style to that.
Okay. All right.
Pull that up.
And then we have a name Name rebrand.
Yeah.
You hear about this?
Yeah. From a really cool franchise that I never played, but I always wanted to play.
With Torchlight.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
it's basically ex-devs from Diablo 2, I think.
I think what the ex-devs in Path of Exile did, they did they went in a totally different direction than the ex-devs in Torchlight 2 did.
Yeah, they went with like they deviated. Like Path of Exile went like, let's go dark,
Even darker, yeah.
and then the Torchlight people was like, let's go sunshines and rainbows.
Very, very, very different. But I've played Torchlight 2 for a little bit. It's okay.
See, look at that.
Oh, you're looking at Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the
Telltale.
Game of Thrones Telltale, right?
Okay.
It doesn't. So they use actual 3D models, so you don't really see the.
So it doesn't
thick
look like it's
black
flat.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like a comic book.
but it does present itself pseudo comic booky.
I gotcha. Maybe that's why I was
Well.
thinking of it.
Well, there you go. All right, back to Telltale.
No, we're not going back to Telltale.
Torchlight.
So it was initially branded as Torchlight Frontiers.
Yeah.
And then, wait a minute. We're going with Torchlight 3.
Yeah. So from what I heard on someone's podcast somewhere that I can't remember what it is.
Hi everyone, Max.
I forgot who. I have that plan right over here.
Oh, sorry.
And it's they tried doing something different. I guess they were trying to do like a free to play kind of
With
thing
Frontier.
with Frontier, and they got feedback from the people beta testing or alpha testing or whatever, and they had to negotiate. They said this
Because they
themselves.
actually were-
they mentioned this themselves. The Torchlight people, the devs. This is sort of what
Is
they
it
said.
still Runic game? I thought Runic went. Oh, would you stop auto playing, you dumb video? Because I thought.
In this video, yeah, the video that they released, they're basically saying that they changed it up because they got negative feedback with their, I'm guessing, fans who got into this sort of private beta or alpha of sorts, and they decided to just go with a that and probably other decisions. Obviously, it went into a full blown sequel.
It looks really cool,
It does, yeah.
and
It looks very similar to the other Torchlight games.
I would say so. It definitely doesn't look as dated as the other Torchlight 2 does. It does look better.
Better looking models. The color scheme of things is still
The same, I would
yeah.
say.
It's still like if I had to describe it, it's like Hearthstone style artwork,
Okay.
right? Or like
Cartoony.
it is cartoony. It's like Fortnite esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could say that. But it definitely has the isometric, top down perspective.
What you'd expect for an action,
Hack and slash. Yeah. But it definitely, like I said, it definitely looks better than Torchlight 2. But I'm okay. I think some people are actually kind of upset about it going from a free to play to is it some sort of premium kind of?
premium.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why would you be upset?
I people because they want free stuff.
If you want free to play, just play Path of Exile for hack and slash.
Yeah.
You'll be happy, trust me.
Yeah, you'll be very, very happy with Path of Exile. Yeah. But very interesting. I actually thought, I don't know if it's the same developers. I think it's Runic or Runic Studios. Oh, Perfect World is taking over this. Okay, well that makes sense now because I thought Runic was out of business. They went
Perfect World and Etra Games. Etra?
I don't know what that is, but I definitely know Perfect World. So,
the thing I will say though, the art style would suggest that their target audience is people typically who would play free to play games, like teenagers and kids and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just from the art style definitely is catering towards a younger audience, and typically free to play is adopted more so by a younger audience. So the fact that they're going premium for a game that looks like it would cater towards freemium, I guess that's probably why there's a little bit of backlash.
Maybe that's what it is. But I mean, as long as the content is there, I don't think people will have a problem paying for it.
Trust us when we say you'll get a better experience paying for a premium price game.
Oh yeah,
versus freemium, free to play.
Path of Exile does a pretty good job
I would
of
argue,
that freemium.
I would argue Path of Exile would be a better game if it was a paid experience.
I mean, what else could they provide that they don't provide now as a paid experience?
They wouldn't had so much of the grindy elements as it has.
I guess, but I think with Path of Exile, they don't add. I don't think there's any. There might be some intentional aspects of that grindiness to get certain things, but I don't feel like it kills that game at all, though. That's just me.
That's a longer conversation with Path. Look, Path of Exile is a great example to counter my arg, but there is some.
I mean, I can't think of any other freemium games that'd be worth playing other than that one.
Yeah. That one is a great one to say.
That would be the only one that I can think of right now.
The only one I can think of would be like Mech Warrior Online.
World of Tanks. No, I don't
Mech
even
Warrior,
know.
Man. That game was so good.
Is it?
It was.
You're countering your own argument. What are you doing?
No. The free to play stuff got in the way. That's why I don't play it.
Ah, gotcha. And then we have Pokemon Home.
Yeah.
Another thing of which I don't understand now.
Yeah, just more details on it came out, talking about they've released a price for the service. It's going to be available, looks like in February.
Is there a free option in this at all? Does that?
Yeah, they're going to offer a very limited free option, and then there's going to be a premium one.
Oh, boy.
Now, the premium one, let's see here. They have prices. So premium is going to be 1 month is $3, 3 months is $5, and 1 year is $16.
Okay.
Which is, the Nintendo service, online service, is $20 for 1 year. This is pretty close to that now. The Nintendo Online stuff is a cheap price compared to other consoles, but this is specifically for Pokemon Home. So this is a very specific thing.
Yeah, if you're playing Pokemon and Pokemon is your thing, then yeah.
Yeah, and there is backlash from fans because Pokemon Bank was cheaper. I think it was like right around $5 for a year. And this is, in order to get the premium, it's going to be $16.
What I'm curious though is because if you get this premium service, right, and you've had Pokemon Bank, so you'll be able to bring in all your old Pokemon.
Yep.
What if they're not in this new? If they're not in this new game, you won't be able to utilize them at all. You'll just be kind of carrying them over.
Yeah.
So just to have them in a bank.
Yeah, pretty much.
Home or whatever this is.
Yeah, you park them in Home, and I guess Home is going to be much bigger than the bank, so there's going to be more features and more interactive things that you can do within the Pokemon Home. Let's see. So I see this premium plan upgrades here. They show basic and premium.
So your basic is probably free.
That's what I'm trying to find out if it is free. So with the free, let's assume basic is free, then you won't be able to move your Pokemon from the Pokemon Bank into Home. You only get that with the premium. So with the $16 a year price. But you can store Pokemon for free up to 30 of them.
Which is not that much.
Not much. Premium, 6,000.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
So what that's really trying to get around is like, all right, I'll pay for Home for a month, bring in all my Pokemon, and then cancel it. You just won't be able to do it because brings you right back down to 30.
That is a good question. What does happen if either your subscription relapses or whatever? Like, they got to guarantee at least
some grace period,
some degree, some grace period, like half a year or something like that. So your Pokemon don't get deleted. That'd be terrible. Imagine carrying Pokemon over for 20 plus years,
from that far
your original Pikachu,
ago.
And then all of a sudden, the Pokemon company just kills your Pikachu, your Raichu or whatever.
Right? Yeah, man. You got to really love your Pokemon if you're going to do this.
But this service is, there's more to this service than just what the bank stuff has to offer. So, there's that. It's available in February. So pretty close.
Really close.
Next up,
Oh, yes. Snack World.
Snack World.
I've been getting more interested in this game the more I see on it. It is not my art style at all. I really don't like the chibi art style.
It's like a Western take on Eastern chibi.
A Western take on
That's what it looks like to me. Is this a Western developed game? Because it looks like a Western developed game that's trying to look like an Eastern developed.
I actually don't think it is a Western developer.
All right, I'm gonna look this up.
I think it's level 5.
Oh, it's level 5.
Yeah.
Oh, it is level 5. Yeah, all right, never mind. I was way off. So it's a Western developed game that's trying to make their characters look more Western. Or more, it's an Eastern developed game. That's making characters look more Western.
We need a compass.
Yeah.
But I like the looting aspect of this game. I think it's really interesting in the way they handle it. Everything's based off of snacks, so it's really kind of cool. But yeah, I've been watching some gameplay on the YouTubes, and it's just kind of. I mean, I don't think I'll buy it. I'm not saying I'll go out and buy it. I just think it's just really kind of. The gameplay loop is a little interesting to me.
Oh, this is we talked about this before with the puppet or claymation.
Claymation, yeah. But that's just this FMV. That's just.
It's not the actual gameplay though. Clearly, it's not because
if you go back a little bit, you can see. I think it's like
that is a terrible.
Because this has already been released in the West.
On what though?
On the Switch.
So what is this? Just an expansion?
Nope, this is them bringing it here to us. That's what that is.
Oh, okay. Yep. So localized.
A localization, if you will.
Yeah. Where is
so you watched the exact same video twice.
I did. I'm kind of going into a loop. This one? There we go.
Jonny, this is Johnny's first time using a computer, I think.
Yeah. It's been a while.
But yeah, I think it's interesting. It's coming out. I think when is it coming out? Of 20 soon.
We will mention when it does because we have a list over here.
You're right.
That tells us.
We'll do that.
They got a character creator.
I'm all out of sorts here.
But it looks like you're creating your own Miis.
They essentially look like Miis.
Got like a little house over here. Some cool lighting effects. Basic texturing. This looks like the setup for Dokapon Kingdom. Oh man! As
with any Western RPG, the intro is about 45 minutes long.
Yeah, I was like, "Where's the combat? I want to see some fighting." Okay, it's an action-based combat system.
Yes, it is an action, real-time action.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So you're kind of excited for this, huh? That was like a weird guilty pleasure.
I think that's more what it is. I'm not saying I'm going to go out and buy it. Okay.
Yeah.
I just begin. I'm like, oh wow, that looks cool. That looks cool. Because for me, it's just the looting. I don't know what it is. I like that aspect of. I don't think it's randomized loot because I like that even more for whatever odd reason. I like the randomized loot, but I don't know. I kind of like what they're doing with that.
This looks like it could have multiplayer. I don't know if it has multiplayer, but it looks like it could because this looks like a Secret Mana game. Different art style, obviously.
Yeah.
The combat it's Secret Mana combat.
Well, it looks like there's a AI ally, so maybe.
Which that's why I'm wondering, like,
is there some co-op or multiplayer?
Could you have someone tap in and play? All right.
Snack World.
Yeah.
The dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
Take a look. It might be your thing.
It might be.
Nintendo.
Yes.
Has filed for some gaming trademarks.
Oh, yeah. 39 of them.
A whole whopping 39 of them.
That's a lot. And some of these trademarks are kind of exciting.
And kind of out of nowhere.
They are out of nowhere. Where are these trademarks? What country was this for? Okay, in Japan. So this is trademarks for Japan. Games, retro games, like games that we haven't heard of in a while.
Right. So this could lead to a few different things.
Yeah.
You're like, are they going to add to the the Nintendo Online feature of not emulated games, but like your Nintendo baseline games, your Super Nintendo, or adding on
N64.
N64.
I'm going to go through this list because a lot of these are N64. I see a lot of N64 games. I see some Game Boy Advance games, etc. Some DS games. So we got a game called Freaky Forms. That sounds familiar, but
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Kirby's Adventure. All right. I could have sworn that's already playable on the NES.
Yeah.
Or is that a Super Nintendo?
No, Super Nintendo is something
Kirby Superstar?
different, yeah. But
Kirby's Air Ride. That's a GameCube game. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. Why would they want to file for a trademark on that? That game hasn't been brought over to anything.
Unless they're doing some sort of mini console.
Yeah. Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. That game hasn't been heard of in quite a while.
N64, obviously, right?
Yeah, N64 game. And I actually rented that like when I was a little kid and played it. And it was actually kind of cool. You had I think 8 different power-ups that you could then swallow from enemies. And then you could swallow another 8 power-ups, the same kind. And depending on how those 2 power-ups combined with one another,
different power.
You got a enhanced power. So there was 64 different combinations.
They kind of do that in the new Kirby, where you can because you have up to 4.
The 4 players.
Yeah, 4 players, and you can actually one can swallow a fire character, one can swallow an ice character, and then you can team up, create something different.
Yeah.
So they kind of have the same aspect there.
Kid Icarus, which what was the name of the 3DS one?
Kid Icarus Rising.
Rising. Okay. All right. So it's
think
not
that's
that.
what it is.
So this is Kid Icarus. The game is available on. I actually don't know. If
I don't
it's
think.
on the,
I don't think it is.
NES emulator.
I didn't like Kid Icarus. I hated that game so much.
It's all right. It's all right. Jam with the Band, never heard of. Golden Sun,
Hey,
Dark Dawn.
that
is
sounds
the
familiar.
DS game, I think.
I don't know what that.
I think that's the third one.
Don't know. But Golden Sun.
Yeah, Golden Sun. Dylan's Rolling Western, The Last Ranger.
Oh.
That's either a DS or a 3DS game.
And don't get us wrong. I mean, these could be something that Nintendo just obviously they want to keep the trademark for. So they could be just kind of
right. But some of these aren't that old. For example, Face Raiders is a 3DS.
Right, and it's not even really is it a game? I guess it is a game.
It was like a bundle.
Yeah,
It came a built-in game.
Right.
But why would they want to? The 3DS is less than 10 years old. Why would they reissue a
right? And I don't think
this?
there's a way for the Switch to have a camera. So
yeah. Here's an interesting one. Out of nowhere, Eternal Darkness.
I think there's been rumors on Eternal Darkness out there.
Yeah. The company, the last I checked, Silicon Knights, they were working on this pseudo spiritual sequel successor to Eternal Darkness. It had to do with Elizabeth Bathory or something like that.
Okay.
But this is going back 4, maybe 5 years. Last I heard of it, I think they ran a Kickstarter, and they had issues because stuff happened, questionable stuff happened about one of the people that worked at the company.
Oh boy.
Or whatever. Either way, the Kickstarter was not successful, and it flubbed. So I don't know what happened to them because I haven't heard anything from them.
I've been hearing that name pop up a lot.
Silicon Knights or Eternal Darkness?
No, Eternal Darkness, along with Kid Icarus Rising. I've been hearing that a lot, and not necessarily Golden Sun, Dark Dawn, but Golden Sun in particular. I've been hearing a lot about that as well.
Yeah, Majora's Mask. Now, once again, they just released a Majora's Mask on 3DS.
3DS, yeah.
It wasn't even that long ago. It was 3-4 years
That was almost
ago.
one. Yeah, it was one of the last games they did.
Yeah, about 4 years ago, probably. So maybe 5. But
right,
yeah, why would they need to do a trademark again for Majora's Mask?
I don't know.
See, this is all right. Card Hero. I think that's another fairly recent one, but I'm not too certain on that. Balloon Kid. I don't know. Animal Crossing City Folk. That's fairly new. Fairly. Not super new, but enough. Alleyway, I'm not sure of. WarioWare Smooth Moves.
A lot of people want some WarioWare.
I would love
games.
some WarioWare games.
I think
on
with
Switch. There needs to be the Joy-Cons are perfect.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Perfect.
they have like everything they need. Like that,
Yeah.
the Joy-Cons can do so many different things that WarioWare game can take advantage of.
Yeah.
It'd be perfect.
Here's an odd one. Wave Race.
Ugh.
Not even Wave Race 64 or Wave Race Blue Storm.
Was there? There was never ever a just regular Wave Race, was there?
Exactly. There's never been Wave Race.
Right. So the first one I remember is Wave Race 64.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All
why
right.
that's why it's interesting.
It is interesting.
Mario Sports. I'm guessing like a big collab bundle thing. I've never heard of. There might have been a Mario Sports thing, maybe like a DS game or something like that. Mario vs. Donkey Kong Mini Land Mayhem. That was probably a DS game, or
It sounds like it would
maybe
be.
an early 3DS game. Urban Champion. That's a very old game. The Wind Waker.
The Wind Waker.
The Wind Waker.
That's weird phrasing, isn't it?
Yeah. No, The Legend of Zelda.
It's
Also,
just called The Wind Waker.
Adventure of Link.
It's Adventures of Link, isn't it?
But this
Yeah,
one says The Adventure of Link.
No, it's Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link.
Yeah.
This is just the adventures, the adventure of
Yeah.
Link.
That is playable on the NES
Yeah.
emulator. And I think same thing with Urban Champion. That's an NES game. Swap Note, that's just a built-in app thing.
Yeah,
right?
that's a whole lot of nothing there.
Super Mario World, that is available on the SNES online service.
And mini console.
Yep. Super Mario Sunshine. Heyo!
People have been asking for this one.
Yeah.
Not me, but people.
You know what this could be? This big giant list? A lot of these could be like false alarms, like things to throw people off guard.
You think they would do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would they need to do that though?
Well, they're protecting. It looks like
I know they're protecting their IPs, but
yeah,
I mean,
they're protecting the namespace so that no one else grabs these names. Because they trademark the obvious, The Legend of Zelda, Super
Okay.
Mario, but some of these have like some name in there, and it looks like for some of these they're protecting the colon part.
right.
For example, the Wind Waker.
Right.
They just trademarked that. So Sunshine, once again, like
That's been in the rumor space for a long, long time.
GameCube game hasn't had a re-release ever.
Nope.
Yeah,
It's
not
never
on
been-
Wii.
no.
Certainly on anything else after that. Steel Diver. No one cares, but that is a 3DS game.
No one cares. You can probably still find Steel Diver out there in some sort of Walmart bin.
Spirit Camera. Was that a
That's a 3DS,
Was it
or
3DS?
it might even be DS. But yep.
Kirby Mass Attack? That was a 3DS. Skyward Sword. Heyo! I'm excited about that. Did you ever play Skyward Sword?
I'd never played Skyward Sword.
People hate on it a little bit too much. It's actually really good.
It's good.
It's really good, yeah. It's probably the best storyline.
What is,
For Zelda
what is
game.
that on? Is that the Wii?
Wii, yep.
Now, is that the one that people get upset because they changed him from being left-handed to right-handed?
Nah, they did that with Twilight Princess.
Oh, that's the one. Okay.
And in Wind Waker, they maintained that hand change. Now, Twilight Princess is a little odd because the GameCube one, Link is still left-handed, and the Wii one, he's right-handed.
Obviously, that's obvious for an obvious reason, right?
Yeah.
Most people are
right-handed.
right-handed.
Yeah.
You
They're
should be
doing
able
it
to
to
swap
match.
that out, but you'd have to change animations and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. But is it really that big of a deal? Like if you're thinking about
Oh, you got some
developing-
hardcore nerds out there.
Yeah, but for the sake of you have to develop two different entire animations. That's
Right. No,
potentially, like, worst case
it's
scenario.
ridiculous. It would be crazy.
Yeah, all for the sake of like appeasing the 10% of the population that are left-handed, or the nerdists that are like super hardcore. Link must be left-handed.
Right. I got to play as Link with my left hand.
Yeah.
And then the Wii controller goes through the TV.
You can still put the controller in your left hand. Come on.
Yeah.
So there's that, and actually, yeah, as I said, like Skyward Sword has an incredibly good story. That storyline is, it is a worthwhile thing. It's one of the most important, I think, the most important of the Zelda games, storyline-wise, to play if you want to like know how things start.
So you know what the storyline is?
Of Wind Waker, of Skyward Sword?
Of just Zelda in particular. There's so many different branches and whatnots.
So it explains the start of everything. It doesn't explain everything. It explains how the Zelda timeline is the way it is, meaning like why it's centered around these three main characters, right? Link, Zelda, and Ganon. Right? It kind of explains that, and it explains the world. Because in Ocarina of Time, they also explain the world, how there are these three goddesses, and they created the Earth and the Triforce and all that. Skyward Sword kind of goes more into the goddesses and ties it in with other elements of the game itself.
Because I've watched a video. It's like a deep dive of the Zelda timeline.
Yeah,
and there's like multiple.
Yeah,
it all starts with Skyward Sword, I believe.
It's the first one on the time. That's why I said it's the most important, and it's also the best done of the storyline ones. There's actual, there's a relationship between Link and Zelda in that game. They grow up together. They're not like strangers.
Right.
They're childhood friends, etc. It's good. It's real good. It explains, because Ganon doesn't come around. Ganondorf doesn't come around until Ocarina of Time.
Right.
And before that, there is no Ganon, but there's a couple of Zelda games before that. Skyward Sword being one of them as well. So, yeah, it's fairly important. Anyway, Shadows of Alma, Pokemon Ranger. Yes, Ranger. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Radar Mission, never heard of it. Pushmo. That's a fairly newish game.
I don't know what a Pushmo is.
You push blocks.
Okay, and then you pull blocks.
There's the pull blocks game. Phantom Hourglass. The DS Zelda games are the ones I never played out of all the Zelda games in the franchise.
The DS ones?
The DS ones I've never played.
Okay.
The Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks.
You play the 3DS one? The Link Between Worlds?
Yeah, that one's one of the best. That one's great.
I like that one.
Yeah. I think I teared up at the end.
Really? Yeah.
That ending was really good.
I know I beat it without dying. I was pretty proud of that moment.
Really?
Yeah. I have a picture of it.
The whole game without dying?
The whole game. Pro. I was actually, that's like one of my proudest gaming moments, and that was like 4 years ago.
Nice. That's pretty good. All right, Ocarina of Time. Once again, like they just released a remake of that on the 3DS, and now they're trademarking it yet again. Nintendo presents Style Boutique. That's probably like some 3DS like add-on app software stuff. Nintendogs plus Cats. That's 3DS. And Mario vs. Donkey Kong Minis March Again and Cruisin'. So like more than half of these games, or I'd say about half of these games, are fairly new. They're within like the first this decade.
Right. Now, I don't know how often these things expire, but I would say within 10 years. I mean, it's pretty fair to say that within 10 years, they shouldn't have to redo these. So
trademarks, I think, is 20 years, but that's in the States.
Right.
And I'm also pulling that off of like very old college one course knowledge. So it's probably wrong. It's probably very wrong. But yeah, so it's interesting to see all these. When I see all of these in one big chunk at the same time. All at once. There's some stuff.
There's some big hitters and possibly some stuff on the way.
I think the floodgates are going to be opening when it comes to like emulation for the Nintendo Online service.
Yeah.
I can see it.
So you think they would do some sort of like N64 and GameCube and Wii or 3DS potentially? I could see a 3DS online.
Oh man.
I don't know if they have enough games there in that list to substantiate that, but you could do something.
I think those might be like the herrings. I think those are
the 3DS games.
Yeah, anything that's on the 3DS or DS, I think those are like misleading.
Okay.
And I think it is going to be N64 and GameCube and Wii, because Wii is pretty much a GameCube times 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is. Those are very likely. The DS stuff, I'm hesitant on, because doing that 2-screen functionality to mimic that on the Switch, it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially for the games, right? Especially for the games that really take advantage of that screen
Because you have to
tapping.
draw on one, right? The Castlevania games. I mean, pretty much most of them.
I'm sure. Yeah, they would have to figure that out, but
They did do it for. Didn't they bring a Kirby Canvas Curse game to the Wii U?
I don't know.
Right.
I didn't play
Rainbow Curse or something like that.
it. I didn't play a Kirby game. I played a few games on Wii U, but not that one.
Yeah. Well, it was first on Switch. Not Switch. DS. There was a Kirby's Canvas Curse, I think it was called. And then they made a sequel to that on Wii U. Because they could, because the Wii U supported that two-screen
well, then that makes
functionality.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
So,
I was gonna look it up.
You can't do that on Switch. You
No.
can't de-dock the system.
No.
And still get the.
No, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
Maybe if you have 2 Switches.
Now you're getting out of hand. You're gonna have to get 2 Switches to play a DS game.
Or, you know what? Call me crazy, but the Nintendo online app that everyone loves
Well,
for your mobile device.
Oh, that useful thing.
What I'm saying is that could be the second screen.
They could utilize it somehow.
It is a touch device.
Right.
And a lot of these games use that bottom screen. A lot of the DS games and 3DS games use the bottom screen for basic stuff, like touch stuff. Nothing like graphically intense, and they use the top screen for like the shiny graphics.
Right. Yeah, I think you got something there. An actual use for the Nintendo Online app.
Yeah, to play DS and 3DS games. Maybe.
Hey, who knows?
We're stretching.
Well, you've provided more information than Nintendo's done on that useful app.
Yeah.
Have you used it at all?
Nope.
No, I didn't.
I haven't even downloaded it. Have you downloaded it?
I've downloaded it. Yeah, I don't know why I downloaded it. But
There you go. You're further than me.
all right, and then we have what is this, Street Fighter?
Yeah, just someone tweeted.
Not just someone.
Yeah, it was EB Games in Canada. They did a oops, big time, because they said that Street Fighter V Championship Edition is coming to the Switch. Oops.
All right, Capcom wasn't ready to announce that.
Nope, they weren't. And then later on, they kind of redacted their own post saying,
course.
"Oh yeah, we posted a tweet." So this is their response tweet saying, "We posted a tweet advertising Street Fighter V Championship Edition for the Nintendo Switch earlier this evening. Please note that the details in this tweet were inaccurate and were posted in error. The intention for this tweet was to highlight the PlayStation 4 version of the game."
Okay.
And you know how they don't say it doesn't exist?
Right, they didn't deny it.
They didn't deny it. So yeah, that has me excited because Street Fighter.
See, I was always
Great.
When growing up, it was always Mortal Kombat
Yep.
and Street Fighter.
Why?
Well, you had
Why does it have to be one or the other?
You had
They can
Fatal
work
Fury
together.
in there. You had some Neo Geo stuff, but it was always one or the other, and it's always the one. And Killer Instinct was up there as well for me.
Ooh, Killer Instinct.
I like Killer
That's
Instinct.
too. It's great. It's just too hardcore.
Right. And then you did have Virtua Fighter, but that was more stand-up arcade, for those folks. But
And then along came Smash, and blew the house down.
yeah, whatever. I can't get into Smash. I'm sorry. I'll say it. I can't get into Smash for a couple reasons.
Because you suck.
Number one, because I'm not very good at it.
Yep.
Number two, I'm not very good at it.
Yep.
And so on and so
And
on.
number 3, it has none of the characters you enjoy playing as. Right?
Not one.
Not one.
I only play as Bowser. And no one plays as Bowser.
Plays the Big Bad Bomber.
Yes.
You know what? He's good.
Okay, that's all I play as.
You play him online, you're actually at an advantage because of all the lag that you get when playing online.
See, maybe I would do a little bit
You get
better.
the slowdown, it just benefits you, and all you do is just drop kick everyone off the screen. It's so ridiculous.
Anyway, that's my my Street Fighter.
So yeah, expect Street. So the fact
I'm
that
expecting
this news is coming out, and they jumped the gun on this news, also means there's probably a Nintendo Direct.
I think
There's a
it's
Direct.
I think it's coming either first week of February or second. It's coming.
I think it's first week of February.
So sometime next week, it's got to be announced. Hey, it's coming tomorrow or whatever.
That's something.
They need it.
Yeah.
They definitely need it.
And Street Fighter V is going to be announced along with the BioShock Infinite and the Metro Redux.
Well, Metro Redux is already on the Nintendo eShop. I don't know. I don't think BioShock is. The Metro Redux is definitely already there. But yeah, you're going to see those ones that were kind of leaked a little early.
And then you have all these little trademark stuff, man. This Direct,
Something's happening. It's going to be a big one.
so much hype.
It's going to be a freaking whopper.
There's so much hype.
Going to be a whopper. All right. Some survey results were revealed from the GDAs.
So the GDA's 2019 Developer Satisfactory Survey results. A lot of other podcasts and stuff like that covered most of the stuff here. I just wanted to turn the attention over to one key little tidbit fact. Now, this survey is a bunch of game developers. So they surveyed a bunch of game developers and asked them a bunch of questions about like their job satisfaction and how they feel the trend of where their company is going or like how much crunch they're now sort of dealing with or how much crunch time has been alleviated, etc. Stuff like that.
Right.
One of the last things to note on here was at the end, they sort of vote for, they ask each of these developers to vote for like the company that they wish they could work for the most. They're the most desirable company that they want to develop the games for and work with. So in 2017, the top companies was Blizzard #1, followed by Valve, followed by Nintendo, then Bethesda. All right, and that goes 8, 6, 4, and 4 for percentages of the total votes. Now, 2019, I'm going to go over the companies, and I'll list the percentage. So, at number 1 was Nintendo at 10%, and then my own studio, which basically means
Independent.
Running, creating, and rolling your own studio. Mm-hmm. That was at 6%. Ubisoft at 6%. Blizzard at 5%. Naughty Dog at 3%. And Valve at 3%. So, and this is 2019. So this is the most recent survey data. And there's a trend here. Nintendo jumped up more than double.
Right.
Of what people's interests are. And 10%, the largest for any one company in 2017 was Blizzard at 8%. This is 10%. So Nintendo's taken a huge chunk
right. So
of all the companies that people could work for in the game industry. Nintendo has the most votes, and it takes up 10% of that.
Right. And they've more than doubled their 2017 numbers.
Yeah.
No, so 2017 you had Bethesda pulling in the rear. I'm trying to think of what they even had going on at the time to be on that list, and
Skyrim on Switch.
Well, that and Fallout 4 had been released maybe a couple years prior to that.
There was hype for Fallout 76. This is probably it being right around GDC time. It's probably Fallout 76. Well, I don't even know if Fallout 76 people were aware of it.
No, I don't think so. I think it's more, maybe Skyrim Switch or Fallout 4. Hype.
Yeah.
Or still post-hype. Because, again, that was a 2015 game. I did just look that up to make sure.
Bethesda for Doom. Doom was getting, that was a 2015 game.
Right.
Wolfenstein, the new Colossus, probably was a 2016 game.
Mm-hmm. And this is basically the birth of the Nintendo Switch. So that was March 2017. Not many people was on board at the time.
Yeah.
And obviously you can see with the numbers now, people are definitely on board.
More than any other company. Mm-hmm. Even developers that are starting their own company.
Right. And I think they're seeing, and I think that's works hand in hand, to be honest. With Steam and in the Nintendo eShop, you're seeing a lot of indie development there.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
they have a lot more creative control, a lot more freedom involved in making their own stuff.
There's a lot of opportunity for indies because it's kind of where everyone's going and seeing a whole lot of success. The Stardew Valley people. Did you see that number they reported?
It's insane.
10 million copies. Indie developer.
Awesome.
10 million copies. That's insane. That's more than Luigi's Mansion.
And he was on his own for the majority of that.
Yeah, he's swimming in money now.
Good for him.
Like,
I'd love to.
Ridiculous money.
I'd love to see him move on from. Not. I don't want to see him move on from. I want to see what else he has to offer.
He could make like another 10 games, have them all crash and burn over
And
the
be
next
fine.
10, 20 years, and still be fine.
Because Stardew Valley will continue to do well.
Well, he could just he's Uncle Scrooge right now. He's got a big giant vault full of money. The Stardew Valley company and owner people,
Right.
whoever.
It's not Chucklefish, is it?
Chucklefish. I don't think they published it.
No. Oh man, you put me on the spot. I knew this too.
Well, they don't get all of that.
No,
I'm certain.
no.
I'm certain the indie dev in the one person in particular is probably swimming in most of the money.
Chucklefish was a publisher,
Oh,
along with 505 Games.
okay. Yep.
But for the most part, the developer is Sickhead Games, which is basically Eric Barone. He was, for the most part, this was a kind of like a passion project for him.
And also a Kickstarter, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Nintendo. And I don't think we needed to see this to know that Nintendo was doing well, but it's really nice to see that, in behind the scenes,
There's a
people are
huge
on
developer
board.
backing. Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome. Okay. Moving on to listener questions. Again, Geo. I don't know what he's thinking. He did not post a reminder for any questions, but I think we have enough to go on here. Some upcoming RPGs.
Yeah. We got some upcoming RPGs. So let's see here. Let's go down on the bottom. January 30th. So that's Thursday. That's tomorrow. So January 30th, there's Skellboy. Mm-hmm. We already mentioned, we talked a little bit about Skellboy. We also talked about Aviary Attorney.
Yeah.
Definitive Edition. That is also going to be tomorrow. Arc of Alchemist is also tomorrow.
We do have...
Whoa, that's a $40 game?
It is a $40 game. It's a level... I think... this is Idea Factory. Mm-hmm. We do have an hour of footage on the YouTube channel, so check that out.
Yeah. We got another game here called Recnum. And by the way, these are RPGs to some degree.
Right. Well, I think what we... when we call out these lists, the eShop, they're categorized as an RPG, so the developer has some sort of say in, and maybe that term RPG or role-playing game brings in a bigger audience. That's what my guess is.
They tagged it for the bigger audience?
Yeah.
Maybe. So Recnum, we looked at screens on this game. It doesn't... It's a $5 game. Comes out on the 31st. Mm-hmm. And also on the 31st, Not Tonight, Take Back Control Edition.
Not tonight. No, we talked about this before recording here. I've never seen a game or heard of a game like this.
Yeah. So I played this game when it released on PC.
Nerd.
And I reviewed it when I was with the Geek Down. So it's a bouncer simulator.
So weird.
That takes place during a post-apocalyptic Brexit UK. Mm-hmm. It's weird. It's very story heavy. If you ever wanted to know what it's like to be a bouncer at a nightclub with a clicker and you're checking people's IDs to make sure that the face and the ID match as well as the date of birth and all that match up, that's the game. that is your battle system.
That's your battle system.
That's your battle
your
system.
fake IDs.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool game. They're charging $25 for it. That's way more than what I would expect for at least from what I played for the PC version of it. They probably added a whole lot more. I mean, it's the Take Back Control Edition, but even then, this is still like a bouncer simulator game. Maybe they shouldn't have incorporated so many extra stuff to inflate the price, but the price does seem a little high.
That's your Switch tax.
But the game is good. It's very different, though. Don't expect like awesome RPG combat stuff. It is fun to play, though.
Right.
In a weird way, it's different.
Maybe it's kind of like, you're just kind of just doing your thing. Almost it becomes like a rhythm type of game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
All right,
and it works well with a Joy-Con. That's your clicker. You take it out and you're like,
that would if they incorporated that, yeah, that would be great. Like
with HD rumble, it's like
be
really
awesome.
tactile.
Yeah. You can swipe in order to get rid of to throw
Get
away the,
out, yeah.
The clicker means you're accepting a person into the nightclub, and if you swipe away the ID, that means you're rejecting them and they're not going to be allowed into the nightclub. So. And there's also like a blacklist, so you can like see if the person's name is on the blacklist, which means they're not allowed in regardless of their ID matching and everything. So you have to be like really on the job, because if you can make a few mistakes, but if you make too many mistakes, it impacts your pay.
You're fired.
And then you can get tipped, and also people can bribe you to get into the club.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's actually a kind of a cool game.
What do those people do to get on the blacklist? That's what I really want to know.
They actually do tell you.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
okay.
they'll say like, oh, this person is, drinks too much, can't handle the liquor, or
that's pretty
starts
cool.
Fights. Yeah.
They're really get deep into it.
Yeah, it's the story is interesting. Yeah.
Really interesting. Okay, and then we have some sort of a mashup here. We have Indie Games Bundle.
Yep. Indie Gems Bundle, JRPG Edition. That's on the 31st. There's also another game called Ash of Gods: Redemption. This game has been on Steam for a bit. I haven't played. I've been watching this. It looks like a tactical strategy RPG style game. It looks interesting. When I first looked at it, though, I looked at the reviews, the user reviews, and they weren't so hot. But I think the user reviews, the average on Steam has gone up. I'm not entirely sure, so maybe check as to what the users on Steam have been reviewing it. One thing to note is that, and what got my attention was the art style for this looks pretty good. It looks like almost Banner Saga-like artwork.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
When I saw some screenshots, was it looked very similar to Banner Saga.
But when you look at the actual video, the animations are a little clunky.
Banner Saga?
No, for this one.
Well, also Banner Saga?
Yeah, also a little bit on the Banner Saga. But like clunkier than that.
Okay.
So, I'm not too certain if this is like even more polished. They're charging $30 for it. I'm not sure if it's going to be worth that much. I would say check the Steam stuff. If the users like it on Steam, then it's probably going to be pretty solid on the Switch, hopefully. It would be nice if there was a user review functionality.
Or any review functionality on the eShop.
On the eShop, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you got to buyer beware. You got to do your own research, your own homework.
Yeah. On the 3rd is Please the Gods.
I actually played this.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
How was it?
You can see the video up on our channel. Oh. It's actually interesting. Now, visually, it's not stunning at all.
Oh no.
But it
is an art style.
It is an art style.
Yes.
I would say it is pixel art, but I think they got a little too detailed with the pixel art, where it almost takes away from the pixel art.
It's not bad. But it's also not good.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of in
what is
in between.
That?
I don't remember what
silly.
I don't remember what they call it. And then when that enemy dies, it looks even more silly. But the way it works is you have an attack phase, and then you have a defense phase, and it's all dice rolls.
Yeah.
So there's some randomness involved in it. And then you go to different nodes on a kind of a world map, and that's how you're making your way through quests. And now I only played the first maybe 45 minutes of it. And, it felt very similar. Like I wasn't seeing any changes involved in that time period. But, like I said, you would get to each node. You'd have to hunt for food. There was some sort of a hunger system, and that kind of affected your health.
Some of these character, so it's got some survival elements. Some of these character art, character drawings look like they were done in Microsoft Paint.
It definitely is, but that's what I mean. Like it's definitely pixel art, but they almost got.
But they were good. Like they got really good at doing Microsoft Paint sprites. Like they got really good at it.
Almost too good.
Almost too good, yeah. Oh,
but
man.
yeah, it's okay for. I think it's like $10. Yeah, I would say maybe a $5 game, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible.
I actually don't think it looks like I think it might even be a $15 game.
It is. It actually plays pretty decent.
Yeah.
And I think that's as far as we're gonna go for the game.
Yeah, there's big jumps for dates afterwards.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure that'll get filled up.
Look at the gap, though. Look at this crazy gap. It goes, 3rd to the 13th.
Right.
And then 21st. We're skipping now
a week.
Weeks at a time for certain games. So, Nintendo's got to fill this up somehow.
I don't know what they're waiting for.
Yeah.
We'll find out February.
Can't wait for
I hope there's a lot. I mean, because they really need to fill this. And what you're looking at is just RPGs.
Over here. Crosscode, just can't wait.
Yeah, and what you're looking at are just RPGs.
Yeah.
There's definitely more in there. All right, so last week we discussed some aspects of MMOs we'd like to see in a single-player game, and one of the users in our Discord reminded me that in Dragon's Dogma, their pawn system kind of... I'm not really sure how that invokes the MMO feel in the single-player game.
Yeah, and this is from Red Guardian.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Red Guardian. So... I do need to ask him to clarify that a little bit, because basically the way pawns work is you basically are renting yourself out to other people. That's basically how it is, and you can take on someone else's pawn.
Yeah.
So it's almost it just brings a co-op element into it.
As you said, Dark Souls. That's part, or actually even Demon. Oh,
I don't know about Demon Souls, but definitely the Dark Souls. Does it.
So. It's not anything. It's not like new,
no.
But this is kind of going back to what we said before. Like, what's the most important thing that single player games could take from?
It's the
MMOs?
multiplayer.
It's the multiplayer functionality.
Multiplayer aspect.
It all comes down to multiplayer.
That's it. That is it. And we also mentioned last week that we were going to be doing a triple R.
Yeah.
And here is the triple R.
Are we doing ours, or are we covering the responses to the tweet first?
How do you want to handle this? You think we should do theirs?
Yeah,
No.
Well,
Let's do ours.
all right, we're gonna do ours.
Oh, yeah, let's do ours.
All
So,
right.
the three games, Dawn of Mana, PS2, Legend of Mana, PS1, Children of Mana,
DS.
Nintendo DS.
Yep.
All right. So now, with Dawn of Mana really very much reminds me of Kingdom Hearts. I don't know why I get that feel.
No, it looks like Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, so you get that. Okay, so
Yeah,
you get that as well. It's maybe a poorer version of Kingdom Hearts, but of the three that I played, of these three, I've only played two of them, so I can't say which ones. Like for Children of Mana, I never played that one. I definitely played Legend of Mana and Dawn of Mana. Dawn of Mana had a lot of issues. It had
an atrocious camera.
Camera was probably one of the worst things. The story.
If someone didn't label this Dawn of Mana, I would have been like, yeah, that's Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's to its own detriment. I think because Kingdom Hearts probably came out, or maybe around the same time, these guys said, you know what, let's do that. And they did it, and they did it poorly.
Yeah.
But
it also looks a little slow, the combat too.
Yeah, I think maybe they didn't get down the action timing that great. But the camera is atrocious. It was very hard to maneuver the camera and the character at the same time. The story was confusing as heck. I don't know if you've played it at all.
The story in most of the Mana games hasn't been great.
Okay, I will have to cry a little bit when I get home. But for this one, it's the most. I really think this is just me. Do you want to just say what we'd like to do from it? What we'd like to do, or what are your thoughts on it?
All right, so I will ask you the questions of these three.
Okay.
Which one would you want to remake? So this is This is the most important. Like, which one do you think is so worth a second shot?
So this is your Resident Evil 2 or Trials of Mana that we're going to see.
Trials of Mana, yeah. It's getting that treatment. It's getting like the full-blown remake, your rethink, the God of War, right?
Okay. I would actually like to see Dawn of Mana.
Dawn of Mana is your pick of these three.
Is my pick because it is so
You
bad.
want a remake of a Kingdom Hearts game, and we just got a Kingdom Hearts game.
But I don't want it Kingdom Hearts style. I mean, make it.
But it's a remake. What do you mean you don't want
make it a
Kingdom
little?
Hearts?
But you could essentially just do whatever you could just do whatever you wanted, right? I mean, if you're gonna remake it into something different or better.
Hold on. Let's put it in perspective. Resident Evil 2 was still Resident Evil 2. You're still inside the police shop. What they did is they changed the perspective.
Okay.
And because
they got rid of tank controls.
No.
There's still tank controls?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, it's not terrible. It's still tank controls. It still controls like Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
Which is tank controls.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like it. That's just me.
Right. But what I'm getting is like it controls better because it wasn't a static camera shot, camera angle, and the rooms weren't pre-rendered. And sort of you get like just pans and zooms from the camera and stuff like that. So you had full 3D view because the environments
because you could move the camera,
3D rendered and all that stuff. So but they kept like the placement of objects and puzzles for the most part. I mean, they changed things up a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it still played.
Okay.
Like Resident Evil 2.
I get what you're saying. So Dawn of Mana could go into. I don't want to port over. Okay, because if I get the same garbage game, what's the point?
Well, you don't think
it's still a garbage game?
Hold on, but a port could, at least for this game, it could fix things like it looks like the frame rate is like a little sluggish. Like you could speed things up, right? You could enhance the game by having it go a little faster. You increase the resolution. You could change the camera in a way that functions better. These are slight changes. They're not remake changes, but there are slight changes that could.
Okay, so I mean, if you do
playable.
some sort of maybe quality of life type of improvements, I don't know that would be good enough to.
Some minor ones.
Right.
And mostly technical based, yeah.
But I mean, even so, I think even the way you level up was just odd choices with some of the gems that you have to use.
So you're saying there's fundamental design flaws.
I think there's the flaws in this game are too overwhelmingly negative to warrant just a port over.
Okay, well then.
So it's either refuse or it's a remake.
And you're sticking with remake?
I will.
This is going to be your remake?
This is going to be my remake.
All right. So because you gave me plenty of great reasons, I'm going to make Dawn of Mana my refuse.
And that's my thing. Like I think it's one or the other with this one.
You gave me more than enough reasons to it doesn't seem like the game has its own identity. And why remake something that doesn't have its own identity? Just make a new game.
And of the Mana games, this one's probably one of the worst.
Yep. All right. So next on the list is Legend of Mana, a PS1 game.
Yep.
Which came out, as far as the West is concerned, it was the sequel to Secret of Mana.
Yes. And I actually enjoyed this one. I enjoy it as it is.
So I never played the game. The game did get played in front of me by a friend. A friend rented the game and just continued to play it. We thought that there would be multiplayer in it, and I think there is, but it takes a while for you to actually unlock it.
I don't know if there's I never played Mana games multiplayer, so it was always just a single player experience. The one thing I will say with this one is the story is a little questionable. Like you had said, most of your Mana games are that way, and it's a little more questionable. But I think the pixel art in it still stands up to this day.
It is a pretty looking game. The sprite artwork. It's a PS. So I mean, this is kind of goes in hand with most PlayStation games. If they are done in 2D sprites, they still hold up.
That's that kind of classic design. It holds up pretty much.
They don't have that ugly PlayStation 1 3D graphics stuff going on.
N64. Don't feel bad to throw an N64.
Had some games had some pretty decent. I could still play some of the 3D games on N64.
Man, I really tried to play Mario 64, and it just makes me nauseous. I just can't play that game.
It's probably because you're staring into a mirror. You got the red hat going.
That's what it is.
You got a little mustache. You got a beard too. So
I'll do it's a me Mario mustache. I don't know, but for the most part, I think this one for me
is a port.
If you're gonna bring in some improvements, maybe. Is this on loop or something? What's going on? I feel like I'm still watching. This guy's stuck in this area.
Yeah, I think the character is just running back and forth in the same area. For me, I think this is I think there's lots of stuff that's salvageable for this, but there are some problems. And with a remake, I think this one's worth remaking because this one is the only one out of the three that I think has an identity.
Yeah.
It was doing something very unique, very different. The combat system was very weird. Like, you had no buttons. Your buttons were skills that you had to acquire.
Right.
And you mapped those to all of your buttons. And that became your character build.
It was definitely, like you said, it had its own kind of quirkiness, its own identity.
Yeah.
You could see some of that, it's like a 3D flame effect in a pixel art environment. So I think it's really doing some really cool things.
Yeah.
And, if you were to remake this, you could make it. Like, how would you make it? You could
give it the full blown 3D treatment. You could go, you could do a lot with this, taking the fundamentals of the game mechanics, which are the interesting part, and kick it up a notch. I mean, it already still looks it actually does look pretty good with the sprites doing their thing. This is actually like a pretty looking game. But obviously there's some like frame hiccups, there's some slowdowns here and there. So you could probably like make it play smoother and control better. That's probably the main areas that you could improve with this. And also, you could, given modern 3D engines, you could do 3D on 2D. I would love to see this run on the Octopath Traveler engine. Just take this game, bake it right into Octopath Traveler, add all of these dazzling lighting effects, 3D lighting effects, etc. Like, this could really shine like a special diamond, and then also bake in some multiplayer if it didn't already have it, and make it easier to get into the multiplayer.
Right. That's the thing with Mana games that I really dislike. Not the multiplayer aspect, but the multiplayer, like, you have to wait. You have to play it a little bit to get multiplayer, and then even then, when you get more characters, like.
Not the first one, or Secret Mana. Secret Mana, you got the second character fairly quick.
But not right off the top. But
that's fine.
But what the heck?
That's
just
fine.
give it to me. Like, what do I have to wait for?
The only RPG that I can think of that was multiplayer that gave you a second playable character immediately was Tales of Symphonia, and Graces.
So they're essentially like just an AI someone.
And Vesperia.
So most of your Tales games. Well, Vesperia, you're single player for a little bit.
No. You had repeat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. From the get-go. Yeah.
Right from the start. It was only 2-player. Now, you didn't unlock the full 4.
Right.
But you did. A lot of the Tales games, you did actually have more than just one character available to you.
Yeah, so that's the thing with those. Like, it takes a while to unlock 4 in Tales of Vesperia.
It did.
If you wanted to go there. So with this one, I could either remake this one to make it like give you like whatever art style, art design you want to go with, or I could keep it the way it is.
I agree. You could actually just port this over. So you what was that term? What was the R? Remaster.
Remaster, yes.
Yeah, I could totally see this getting a remaster treatment, and I would be content with that. But there's an opportunity to remake this, and I would absolutely give it to that because once again, I see something special here that I don't see in the other two.
Right.
something worth more attention to.
I think you're right. And if there's any quality of life fixes, make those happen.
And the last one.
Children of Mana.
Yeah. What do you
This
think?
is my refuse.
Yeah.
This is my meh. I don't need it.
This would have been my refuse, but you convinced me to,
Convince
put
you
that
otherwise.
for somewhere else. Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad game. It's not terrible. It does incorporate your co-op. It feels very overly complicated for no reason. Like when you go to your overworld, you have to select a different, like an area of the map, and where you select that is very important into where your dungeon is. And it's really kind of, like I said, it's confusing in that aspect. And this is one that I've only just seen people play. I've never actually played it. So it's difficult to say, and maybe that's part of the reason why I'm refusing it.
Well, certainly this one does not deserve the remake status, simply because it is a remake.
It is yes.
So it's already been remade, and the sprites actually they look good.
They don't look bad.
It's impressive looking of a game. There's not as many animations as you would like the water in this particular part of the video could clearly be animated a bit better than what it is.
It doesn't look like water; it just looks like different terrain.
Yeah, it looks like blue grass. Yeah, and you got the damage numbers. It's actually running pretty well. This
might be on an emulator as well that this video is on.
Yeah, but it's running pretty good, smooth wise, right? I don't imagine this person doing a speed run clearly is running this thing faster than what the game would actually run. If it's a speed run, they kind of have to
follow the rules,
mimic the original behavior. So it looks pretty decent. I think this could get the remaster treatment, right?
It could.
You remaster it, and being a sprite-based game, that means kind of like HD sprites. You're basically keeping everything there, and you're updating the artwork. You're not sort of remaking anything. I guess technically you're remaking the artwork because it's sprites, and sprites don't benefit from a resolution.
No,
increase.
not necessarily, but they scale. They scale well. And one thing you'd have to take into consideration, obviously, you got the dual screen, so you'll have to replicate that menu system on that secondary screen somehow. Yeah. I'm sure you can make a mini map and as you're dungeon crawling and just be fine.
Map it to a button that switches between.
Right, they already have the radial menu involved in this.
Yeah.
So it can certainly be there. Or like I said, basically what's on the secondary screen is a map.
Not even that important.
And that would be, in a dungeon crawler, a map could be really important.
Sure.
Exposed map. So
because
as you're exploring, as you're exploring, maybe it'll get exposed, I guess.
Yeah, but it's also showing stuff like your current level.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need your experience points.
No, I mean even that can be done pretty easily on a bigger screen. Obviously, we're looking at it. It's a more condensed screen. So as you expand the screen, there's more space for stuff.
Yeah. Now, just seeing this game play, run, looking at the combat, I'm actually very content with refusing Dawn of Mana versus this one. This one looks, somewhat redeemable for remastering. I don't think it's going to be great, but it's certainly more worthwhile to remaster. Although probably Dawn of Mana would benefit more from a remaster
and that's
you get the resolution increase and frame rate stability.
So, and this isn't my refuse, but I could go. You could really go with anyone on this one. Yeah. This one's not terrible, but it does have some other issues, like the overworld. I think is really confusing to me.
Oh, look at that! That is a cool looking villain. That's clearly a villain.
Oh, obviously, it looks like what's her name, Maleficent.
Yeah, that's cool looking.
So and then we have some responses. Oh, so what did you choose for this one?
This was going to be my remaster.
Your remaster, okay. Yeah. Cool. We got some responses from Twitter because I did post this question.
It's kind of odd that I chose remaster. So it's a remaster of the remake. That's basically what I chose.
That's okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to look at this on my cell phone because I
got it right here.
Oh, but those are really small letters.
I can make them bigger.
Ah, look at that.
I got magic fingers.
Look at that. All right, so I posed the same question to Twitter, and we got a few responses. So the gamer to the right at the gamer to the R1 said, refuse children, which is what I said. No, yeah, that's what I said.
Yep.
Reuse Dawn.
Which is what neither of us said.
No, I don't know if I'd reuse that at all.
And remake Legend, which is what I said. And I actually like this.
You like that?
Children, I'm okay with refusing children as well. And because I said, as we said, we're remastering Dawn, which means it has the biggest potential to benefit from a remaster.
Yep. And then he also stated that he's only played Children of Mana. He says it's unfixable.
I don't think it's that bad.
I don't think it's that bad either. But
it's also the OG.
OG.
Yeah, it's the first one of the Mana series.
All right, and then you got Sergio Martinez at the Pollo Pot Pie. I most want to remake a Dawn of Mana. Just change it to a regular leveling system and polish the physics of the whip to today's standards. Would also be nice if the locations you went to felt more connected in some way via an actual world map. Ah, look at that, to traverse or something else.
We have some bad eyesight over here.
Oh, what are you talking about? Huh, those weren't like they weren't really close to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe I need to get my eyeballs another look-see. But yeah, I mean, I would also remake. I agree. I would remake Dawn of Mana.
What he's asking for is certainly remake stuff that requires a remake.
Right, and it is one of the games that really would benefit the most of it. Either refuse it outright or redo it.
Yeah.
You know, keep kind of your main plot points.
I'm still concerned about that identity.
Yeah, maybe they could fix that.
It looks so much like Kingdom Hearts that even when they remake it, they're probably just going to make it like Kingdom Hearts again.
Yeah,
I don't want to play that.
I wouldn't want to play that either.
Yeah.
I'm not even a fan of a Kingdom Hearts game. Yeah. All right, and then we have 2 he would remake Legend.
Yep.
Reuse Children. Refuse Dawn.
Hey, that's my picks.
There you go. Your picks.
There you go.
I don't agree.
Sensible taste.
Sensible taste. I don't agree. Then let's see. I know Chris had some thoughts of his own. If you would mind scrolling down.
Oh, scrolling down some more. Oh, I see.
Yes. So CR Magic, Chris Rothenberger said, remake Legend, reuse Dawn, and refuse Children. That's what I said. That's sensible taste. Thank you, CR Magic.
You didn't say that. You said remake Dawn.
I didn't. You're right.
I said this.
CR Magic?
Well, actually, no, this is the same as what the first one said. And I can kind of see it this way too, right? Remake Legend, which I agree with. Mm-hmm. And he said reuse Dawn, I can see the, remastering Dawn. I can see
well, just to fix its small problems. I don't know. I don't know that you'd be able to really do that in just a.
Well, it doesn't have it has big problems.
It has big problems.
And it has small problems.
Right. It has a mix of both. You're not fixing that game in a remaster.
Improving like the frame rate improves the control. Right, adding stability, making it 60 frames per second, increasing resolution, adjusting the camera positioning. You can fix those things without actually needing to change the fundamental game, and that will make it play better,
different,
way better.
Yeah, and that's a possibility in a remaster. So, So Dawn of Mana is probably the one that could be in every single category.
I don't see any hate over here for Legend. Everyone is pretty much on board with the Legend train. I see a lot of remakes. I think everyone said remake.
Yeah, I think Legend of Mana is probably the better of these three. And then we have Melon at Battle Tank Bob. Yeah. I love these handles here. Cool, whatever you do with Legend of Mana, make it so you can freely explore instead of the screen locking up whenever an enemy is around. So that's kind of what I don't want to call what Tales of does, where they kind of, when you're in a battle where there's like an arena.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they're doing. Instead of an arena, they're screen locking.
Yeah.
When there's an enemy around.
So you can focus on the fight.
Rather than moving and panning.
And also not doing the panning potentially is a way to sort of improve frame rate because you're not scrolling the background.
Right. Yeah, and then maybe that's what they did to fix any issues that they were having.
But generally that isn't that shouldn't be a technical issue. I mean, the amount of extra overhead you get from panning, depending on, because you're getting sprite and sprite, and you want a repeating background, so you're kind of printing the same sprite twice, but you can crop, I forgot the term for it, but you can sort of cull part of the sprite and cull the other part of the sprite so that you're not rendering the same sprite more than twice. Whereas by not panning, you just get one sprite, it's one draw call, and it fits onto the screen exactly because you just locked it in place. But this, I'm talking about very general stuff. This does not apply to how it actually works in Legend of Mana. So I'm not saying this particularly applies to Legend of Mana.
Right. But I mean, I don't mind that sort of system.
Yeah.
How it kind of locks you in a fixed sort of screen. It's sort of that arena style kind of fight, I guess, in some of the Tales of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. I love the interaction here. Great. Thank you all for responding to that. Now, let's see here. Let me go on my cell phone for a second.
I know what's coming.
Because
I completely forgot about this.
You're applying for a job.
I am.
You're applying for a job.
You mentioned this at the start. You
I did.
already signed me up for something.
I signed you up for something.
Yep.
I actually posted this on our Twitter beforehand, and I knew you weren't going to check it, so. Not all the questions. I think I did about half of the questions. Now, these are going to be quick hit questions.
Yes.
So I want the first thing that comes out of your brain, I want you to answer.
F-Zero.
Faster than F-Zero. Is that even possible? This is like Street Fighter. No, it's your answer to everything. So
F-Zero?
this is like Street Fighter Turbo.
Turbo.
Okay.
Okay.
Super fast.
All right. But if you wanted to be really fast, you'd say Smash Melee.
Wait, is that faster than Street Fighter Turbo?
Oh, yeah. You kidding me?
Fine. Whatever's faster. All right. You ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
Let's get it on.
All right.
Name the first RPG that comes to mind.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Best turn-based RPG.
Let's go with Divinity, Original Sin 2.
Best strategy RPG.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Definitive edition.
Best strategy RPG?
Yes.
Ogre Battle 64.
I knew that was coming. Best character in an RPG.
Magnus from Ogre Battle 64.
Ideal number of party members in an RPG.
As many as you can get. Let's go with the Final Fantasy VI, however many that one has.
All right. Best RPG world you'd love to live in.
Xenoblade. Oh, I'm not sure which one. One or two.
One or two? All right. Best weapon in an RPG.
Wow.
You pass. Come back to that one.
I do not pass. No, you know what? The Monado.
Monado. All right. So we're back at Xenoblade. All right.
back to Xenoblade.
Most memorable quote in an RPG. Do you have one? I know this one might be harder.
Yes, Tales of Symphonia. Dwarven vow number 1. Justice and love will always win, or something like that.
Something like
the
that.
Dwarven vows.
The Dwarven
all
vows.
All of them.
Awesome. Most memorable side quest in an RPG.
Fallout 3 with the weird vampire people that lived underneath the train station.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. What the heck
That was so
name?
weird.
Right by the escalators?
Yeah, I think you had to get blood for them or so.
Yeah.
You had to feed them blood packs or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, that was weird.
I remember that too.
You know what? Better than that, though, was the Abraham Lincoln one in Fallout 3. I loved that side quest. It was so good.
Fallout 3 had so many decent and good.
The great Emancipator quest or whatever.
And that's when we got the Lincoln repeater.
Yeah. Oh, that was so good.
All right. Most visually stunning RPG.
Xenoblade 2.
The RPG that defines you.
Xenoblade.
So this is more. I call this. I don't know, we could take our time with this one. I call this kind of like the handshake RPG. So, if you were to say, it doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite game, but this is the game that you would say, all right, if you play this game, this incorporates all my. This is all my tastes.
All right. In that case, Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. I think that's a great answer, actually.
Or Symphony of the Night.
Okay. Did you play Bloodstained?
Yeah. Played beat. Yep.
Which one do you prefer?
What do you mean, which one do I prefer?
Castlevania Symphony of the Night or Bloodstained?
Symphony of the Night by a landslide.
Okay. I'm just...
like, not even close.
Because there are people who... I know... I can think of one particular person who says otherwise.
They're wrong.
Because Bloodstained kind of enhances or, does more than what Symphony of the Night does.
No.
And I played this Switch version, so I had a broken version initially. I know it's been fixed or whatever, or somewhat fixed. But
the best one is probably Aria of Sorrow. The best one gameplay mechanic-wise is probably Order of Ecclesia.
Mm-hmm.
And then the best one, just overall, give it the tip of the nod because it was kind of like the first one to do the things. Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Best music, graphics.
It's got good music. I still prefer Castlevania 2 because it's the first one that had Bloody Tears. And Bloody Tears is probably one of my most favorite game songs of any video game. I think if I could listen to that in any rendition, whether it's a cover version, a piano cover version, or it's an original chiptune version, like it always sounds freaking phenomenal to me. All right, you're hired. So I did post these questions to Twitter, and I've gotten, but again, just before I came here, and there were so many responses. I mean, we can go over some of them if you want. Or we can go over them next time. It's up to you.
Let me see if I can pull that up again. What was my final answer for best RPG that defines me?
Well, you said Castlevania.
I said Bloodborne.
Well, you said Bloodborne.
But Bloodborne is Castlevania.
It's essentially,
It's Castlevania.
Yeah, you could say that.
I will... I am going to stick with Bloodborne because it is more modern, and I think it is
it's
genius, perfect.
I wish I could play it. I think it's definitely something that I would absolutely love. I love the environment. I love the feel of that game.
Yeah. And I do have some issues with Symphony of the Night. I don't think it's perfect. It is absolutely amazing game, and I love it. But there's, there are some design issues with it that makes it has some of those quirky design elements where you're scratching your head like, how would anyone ever figure this out, kind of thing.
Right.
Those like puzzles that only has one answer to, and it's like so inside joke, inside story,
right,
that it's like practically you have to look up a guide to figure it out.
Yeah, it's detrimental
to
itself.
The whole like having the I think it was like the sprite or the skull as your summon.
Mm-hmm.
That you need to have them equipped
that's like,
in order to flip a switch for you.
That should almost be like an Easter egg, like to something, instead of an actual way to get through the game.
To get to the final ending.
Right. Yeah. So for question number 1, I had name the first RPG that comes to mind. We had a lot of answers: Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy X, a lot of Final Fantasies, Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World, Mario RPG, Suikoden, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy III, the real Final Fantasy VI.
Which one is this?
This would be at the Switchrpg.
This one? I see.
And then, like I said, everyone, it's Final Fantasy. That's really,
okay. Here we go.
A lot of people are going for Final. That's like one of the first things people think of.
That was what, the...
Number one.
Yeah,
name the first RPG that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. Then I didn't. Like I said, I asked different questions. It was only 5 of them. I could have done them all, but I didn't. Number 2, best RPG world you'd love to live in. Final Fantasy. What is that? 14.
You skipped Hyrule, but they said Ocarina of Time version.
Wait, Hyrule. Now this
I would totally pick Breath of the Wild.
Oh, you didn't. Now here's the thing. This is Rich. He's one of the staff members at Switchrpg. And he totally is doing this to bother me.
That's not right. That's John Harvey.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you?
Johnny Darkfang.
Oh, we have a different orders here. That's why.
Yeah.
And Rich, he also did it, but he did it on purpose. I know he did it on purpose.
Pokemon's a pretty good pick because it's still very much like real world, like real life kind of world, but with Pokemon in it. And they made a movie
Detective Pikachu was a pretty decent movie, decent flick.
That's pretty good. I like that answer. So what's Spira?
Spira, isn't that part of Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
No.
Spira. I'm not sure.
Clue. The world of Xenoblade is
Spira is in
Elmira.
the original Final Fantasy.
Okay. I think Elmira is the name of the world in Xenoblade 2.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
I'm quoting you.
Don't quote me.
You're wrong. Again, yeah, Pokemon, Star Ocean. I'm actually surprised in Star Ocean. Now, I don't know if I'd ever want to live in some sort of sci-fi.
Star Ocean or Xenoblade
Chronicles X.
X. Wow. Okay. X? Really? X? You want to live in that world?
Look at those giant freaking like dinosaur-esque monsters.
No, that's cool. But you're
With the
gonna live.
mechs.
You're gonna live in a city that has, an artist that has one good hit song and it's gonna play on loop over and over and over again
It's such a good song.
throughout the entire city, and there's only one city.
But you got mechs.
You do have mechs.
I mean, that's kind of cool. You
do get to fly around.
You
Yeah.
get to fly around anywhere
So you
you
get to leave the city.
want.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah. Very quick. I'm down with that.
Dragon Quest 11. It's a little towny, I guess.
That's kind of a cool world.
Yeah.
It's so quirky. I mean, I would love to just like walk around the world and all of a sudden some like devil demon creature just like points at me, and all of a sudden I come
Battle.
down with disco fever and I start dancing. That'd be great.
Cassandra says the Pokemon world. And
A
there's
lot
your
of Pokemons here.
Yeah.
Another Hyrule. Oh,
well,
that's the Rich.
That's
that you were
Rich. He's
talking
just
about.
being a jerk.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 14. See, you made them small
14,
again.
12, or 11. So 2 of them are MMOs. All 3 of them are practically MMOs. 12 is... It's got a very MMO-like world.
Pseudo MMO.
That world is boring. Are you kidding me? 12?
I don't know if I'd want to do 12.
12?
12?
The world in 11 was boring. It was like drab.
Well, Final Fantasy 12, that's almost post-apocalyptic, isn't it?
Yeah, look, 11 and 12 are drab worlds. They are ugly to look at. Ugly. 12, and the zones in 12 were like mazes. 11, forget about it. 11, you can't... It's navigation's like you're glad it has a compass and you're glad it has a map that you can sort of say, okay, I have to go that way.
You're more looking at the map than you are actually
Exactly.
at the
The world's not interesting at all. And yeah, you run the chance of running into mobs that are like way too high level, and then you train a bunch of mobs. Like 11 is not a good Final Fantasy game. I don't care how long you played it, it still ain't good.
Name the RPG that defines you. This is where I think we got some different answers here.
Oh yeah. Witcher 3,
Witcher 3.
Final Fantasy 6. Mm-hmm. This is what name that defines you. Okay, so this is your
your handshake. This is what I call it, a handshake RPG. Yeah. So Witcher 3, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 6 or 7, though Zelda is probably a franchise I love more.
Another Zelda.
I don't like it. I can't really narrow it down.
Pokemon
Black or White.
That one in particular.
Yep.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, wow.
And Persona 4 Golden.
Okay.
I never played 4 Golden. I have it.
I have it too. Oh, not Golden. I have 4.
Yeah, no, I have 4 Golden.
The PlayStation 2 version.
I gotta get on that at some point.
The ideal number of party members.
Now, I threw this one in there almost as like, all right, let me see, because I have something in mind. And
mine, I think my answer was like a crazy lot.
Yeah, whatever, just like a billion.
As many as possible. And that makes sense because Ogre Battle is a game where you can have a party of a crazy large amount.
No, you could have not a party, but like access to like a bunch of people.
You can deploy onto the battle map 9 units.
Mm-hmm.
Each unit can have up to 5 characters per unit. So that's 5 times 9, that's 45 for on the battlefield at any one point.
So
in time.
you want armies.
And some units, some of the characters are I think they're like soldiers.
Yeah.
So it would take the place of one character, could be 3 little tiny soldiers.
So you're really breaking it down.
Technically, you could have but one has to be a leader. So the max you could have is 1, 3 times 4, so 13. 13 times 9.
So we're really getting to the nitty gritty on
We're
this.
talking over 100
That's a lot of
bodies.
party members
Yeah.
in quotes there. But for me, single player, no party members. That's just the way I am. So
None.
none.
So you're talking like Witcher style.
Right. Single player.
Single player.
Like original, not even Fallout, because Fallout introduced some party mechanics that I didn't really like.
Could you get? Yeah, you could. I got what was that dude's the mutant's name? I forgot his name in Fallout 3.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name right now.
And you also got a dog too. Dog meat.
Dog meat, but that was in 4.
That was in 3.
That wasn't 3?
Yeah.
Oh, it
Dog Meat
wasn't
was in
3.
3.
Yeah. So I don't want anybody. I don't want to have to deal with anyone. I don't want to deal with your problems. I have my own
System
problems.
Shock 2. No party members.
There you go. Beautiful.
You should play that.
Well, I mean, the great thing about Fallout 3 is like, yeah, you can have access to those, but you don't have to have them at all. They provide additional benefits.
Yeah.
But they're more. I got my own problems in this post-apocalyptic world. I don't need your problems.
The Souls games.
Single player.
Bloodborne.
Thank you.
Sekiro.
And those are fantastic. I have nothing against. One of my favorite games, Divinity: Original Sin. You have party members.
Yeah, party members.
I have the least amount. I only have 2.
You don't recruit anymore.
I don't want any more. 2.
Is there a benefit to having
There
these
is.
two? Okay.
Lone Wolf perk.
Okay.
With the Lone Wolf perk, a lot of your
So
abilities
both
get.
of them have Lone Wolf?
Yeah. So they double attribute points and everything. So there's benefits there.
So you're the reason why that Lone Wolf perk always pops up in games.
Love it.
So, some variant of
Yeah, I want to play by myself, and it kind
Outer
of.
Worlds has that. So did you go Lone Wolf on the Outer Worlds?
Yes, I don't want to deal with anyone. and that's my thing with CRPGs, right?
Yeah.
It all comes around kind of full circle. Like I don't want to deal with anyone else's problems.
Yep.
I have my own stuff going on. Leave me alone.
How could you say that for a game like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, man?
Again, there are
Those
games that,
characters
like
are
I
so
said, there are
good.
games that I absolutely love that have party members, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Divinity: Original Sin. I'm trying to think of others, but
But for single player, this is why, we both voted Breath of the Wild to be, because it is that lone wolf mentality, ultimate RPG experience.
Yes,
Breath of the Wild.
we voted for Breath of the Wild as RPG of the year. Decade. Thank you.
It's got the lone wolf stuff.
Yeah, and there's no the potential allies that you have to deal with or nothing.
Except for the boomerang.
The boomerang? That's not an additional party member.
You try to throw it away, like, I don't need
Just
you
keeps
with
coming
me.
back.
Yeah, it keeps coming
That
back.
jerk. But yeah, that's just a me thing.
Yeah.
I would rather just play.
So someone here says most memorable. That's you. Someone says 4, 8 total. So 4 in the party, 8
4
total
in
characters.
one party. Yep.
7 to 8, 3 in the party. 3. I always appreciate 4 over 3.
Well, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, is that 3?
Xenoblade Chronicles X is 4.
Right. What about 2? That's a 3-person.
1 is 3, and 2 is 3.
So I mean, it works. It is
2
just.
3?
I think so. What do you think it is? 4? No, it's 3.
So X is the one that's throwing me off. X I know is 4.
I was actually really thinking about picking that up, or not picking it up as a habit, of just putting it in the Wii U and
Just
playing it. Let me see
again?
what this is about again. Let me get
Just
that.
remind yourself how awesome that game was.
I love that game. All right, so 7 8 in all, 3 in the party, and then
4 to 5. Okay, a fiver over here.
Pillars of Eternity has 5
6?
or 6 even.
Wow,
That's a
4 to
lot.
6. 3, no less than 3 though. There is a couple of 2s though.
Why no less than?
2 is hard to do, but it has been done really well.
I do it all the time with 2.
Well, Paper Mario.
Okay,
Thousand Year
yeah.
Door.
Yep.
That did 2 really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. And you had I think side characters. I think there was like 6 or 7 partners that you could get.
Right.
But only one of them could be with you in combat.
And there's points in time where you just have one, right? Like it kind of within the story, does it take some away?
Well, you always have one.
Right.
You could switch them out whenever you want.
Right, but is there a point in the story where it's just one?
Where it's just Mario?
Like you use a party member for the story purposes.
Yeah, it's just Mario.
Right.
Yeah, that happens a few times.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some transitions there. But I don't know. Just give me one. That's all I need.
Just one?
Or two.
What's the sweet spot? Sweet spot 4?
I think for the most part, 4 is probably a sweet spot.
I think the sweet spot is 4 or more.
Wow.
3's fine, though. 3's fine.
3's okay.
I'm okay with 3. I prefer 4, but when you get to like more epic levels of party members, I just love that so much.
It's too much for me to handle. I'm already...
Fire Emblem's like, it can fluctuate between like 8 and 12 or 8 and 15.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I think because it is turn-based, so it does help managing all that. I think if you had, say, a CRPG doing like 6...
Oh, what about like Final Fantasy Tactics and all the tactics-like games?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Some of them do have a pretty large, number of units that you can deploy on the battle map.
Yeah. Right. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
That's way too much.
Oh, that's great.
It's way too much.
You gotta play Ogre Battle, man.
Cassandra Ramos says, for all playable characters, I'd say 8. That's a lot. Oh, for playable, sorry.
Yeah.
Though I'd like to see smaller parties that I can rely to make characters feel more close-knit. So, yeah, I think when you have a lot of characters, like, say, for example, 8, like, you really better tie in the story.
Well, 8 is fine. I think 9 has been in a lot of RPGs, too. And I like 9 because it gives room to kill one of them off.
Or more than one.
Mm-hmm. Has it ever happened?
I'm sure that happened, and that is terrible because if you're dumping points into one character and you don't know that they're gonna die, and then they die, your party is just garbage.
That makes it all the better.
No,
when they die.
Oh no,
makes it all the better.
That's awful.
Has there been
or they heel turn on you? I think that's happened, right?
Has there been? Not counting, like, because it's easy to kill your companions in, like, Fallout style games.
Mm-hmm.
Not counting those games where it's, like, way too easy to kill your own companions, permadeath them, or Fire Emblem.
Mm-hmm.
Super easy to permadeath your own party members. So more traditional-esque. Has there ever been any that killed more than just one important character? I'm trying to think.
I'm sure. Did Final Fantasy X? Did you lose anybody in there?
4 you did.
Okay.
And 4, you lost a couple of party members, but then you kind of get them back.
Right.
Don't you? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, no, I haven't played. I haven't played 10 in a long time. I haven't played 4 in even longer.
10. I think only one person.
Right.
Very important one.
Right.
But that's it. Same thing with Chrono Trigger, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to do some heavy research on that. Maybe phone a friend, even. I don't know. I can't think of anything. So you think you're asking is?
Oh, you know what? 2 of them, technically, and potentially 3 of them did die in Xeno.
2. Is it Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or the 1?
2. Yeah.
Okay.
Technically 3 of them.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yep. Technically.
Do we count that as like it's either 1, 2, or 3? We don't even know, but we both know exactly what we're talking about. We just don't know how to quantify it.
Yeah. Right. I don't know what the number would be.
Yeah, that's a weird one to.
But that's one of the games. Yeah. I did see this brought up in one of the comments in one of my videos. Someone was bringing up some frame rate issues, and this particular person. This is outside of what we're talking about. This particular person always brings up frame rate issues, and I can see that being an issue in some games where frame rate really. What's that?
Why are you bringing this up?
I'm gonna get into it.
Okay.
I can see that being an issue in some games where frame rate to its detriment can really be a deterring factor in whether or not you like or enjoy a game. But then I always think of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the frame rate in that game is absolutely terrible.
No, it's not.
Play it handheld. It is absolutely terrible.
That's your problem.
Well,
You do not play that game in handheld.
I didn't want to let go of that game.
Yeah.
So if my work is listening, I brought it everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stop playing that game. That game drew me in, sucked me in. I played it anytime, anywhere I could. And so I played it handheld.
Yeah.
Try playing that game handheld. It's really the frame rate really chugs.
Yeah. Well, it got more blurry than chug.
Both.
Yeah.
I think both. I think in order to compensate for some of that chugginess, the graphical fidelity also took a hit.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't care. I didn't care at all. It was such a good game where the frame rate was, I noticed it, but it didn't really bother me to never recommend that game to anyone,
Yeah.
Whereas it, for example, I see a game out there, say Diablo was one of them. It's not. Say it was, where, it really chugged along. I don't know that I'd really recommend that game to everyone.
If the frame rate chugged?
If the frame rate chugged.
Absolutely, because that's a way more action. The action is important in that game. And guess what? It did chug. When the game first released on PC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm talking when it was on the Switch, it really didn't.
Well, when it was on PC,
I remember
it had
that.
server issues.
Oh, yeah, I remember
and
that.
And you would get rubber banded, and it would
that's because
stutter all over the
that's
place.
when they were incorporating a lot of your permanently online type of stuff, and they got rid of.
They still have that.
Do they still have that?
Yeah, you have to be online to play that game. It's just the servers got better. I mean,
right. Okay.
It was an issue of like new servers, brand new game, everyone logging on trying to play for the first time ever. Like it was just a cluster of problems that lasted for quite some time too, because Blizzard, you didn't think that Diablo 3 would be pretty popular given Diablo 2's success.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring up that point. Yeah. It's, to me, yes, frame rate does matter, but quality for me trumps frame rate.
Quality of what? Quality of
graphics? Of the game.
Absolutely. But I will say this. When I went and played... So I played Dark Souls 1 on PlayStation 3. And then I played Dark Souls 2 on PC.
Probably looked better.
And it ran at... That was my first experience of Dark Souls on a 60 frame per second engine. So I played it there, 60 frames per second, and that was the first time I played like a big RPG, 60 frames, all the bells and whistles, because I think my PC was like up to snuff at that time. And it looked so good, and the frame rate was kind of like a game changer for me. It took, whenever I played a game that wasn't 30 frames per second, after playing that, I could tell it wasn't 30 frames per second. 60 really does make a difference, but if you start playing a 30 frame per second game, it'll be jarring at first if you come from a 60, but then you'll get used to it. Yeah. And it's perfectly doable. It's perfectly fine. However, if I had to give a preference over like graphics or 60 frames per second, I will pick 60 frames per second any day of the week.
Really?
Yeah. 60 frames it's a game changer.
Okay.
And that wasn't the only game I played out 60 frames per second.
I think it was. I know we derailed the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
But this is the last question. And it is the most memorable side quest in an RPG. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing.
We got Witcher 3 when dealing with the Baron's wife issues.
Yeah, the Bloody Baron.
Yeah.
That's Witcher 3, I think, has so many great side quests. I think you could fill this list.
We got like 3 different people saying the Baron's baby stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got breeding chocobos in Final Fantasy VII. Really, you thought that was a great one?
That's a chore.
That's building up the village in Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild.
No, listen.
And yes, that is an awesome side quest.
That's a good side quest.
Yeah.
That is a good side quest. And side quests in general in Breath of the Wild are kind of sketchy, because that's not really...
They're all pretty good.
Because even to get that side quest, you have to almost get it by accident. I think. That's just me.
There is no accidents in Breath of the Wild.
This happy accidents. So yeah, this is John Harvey who brings that up. Somebody to choose from: dealing with Baron's baby in The Witcher, breeding golden chocobo. You were insane. Building up the village in Breath of the Wild. And he's actually hoping that they expand on that in the second edition.
We got this rocket silo in clearing the rocket silo for the ghouls.
I remember, and this is not 3, it's actually Fallout 4.
I was about to say, wasn't that in Fallout 4?
No, there was one with a ship. I don't know if it was ghouls. They turned it into Independence, the ship, but it's like crashed into like a building, and they turned it into an airship, and then you clear it from its problems, you get it working.
Yeah.
They take off, and it crashes into another building. And it's actually a pretty funny side quest in Fallout 4. One of the few.
I think I was on that side quest when I stopped playing.
I forget what the ship's name is. I think it's called the Independence. But.
Shout out to Tales of Symphonia, rebuilding Lewin. Yeah.
No way.
There ain't no way. Did you play Tales of Symphonia?
No, I'm just saying no way because you like it. Witcher 3 Bloody Baron, I think, is for the most part is the general consensus.
We got another Final Fantasy VI, Shadow's Dream, Skyward Sword. Wow.
Oh, there we go.
In which Colin asks Link to deliver a love letter to Crane. Wow. Either a love triangle gets resolved or Colin gets a visit from the bathroom ghost. Wow. Wow, that's a deep cut right there.
That's awesome.
That is deep.
And she is, I
Final
think...
Fantasy 9, look at that. Another Chocobo thing.
Man, what is with people in their chocobos?
I don't know.
It's unbelievable.
And Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the event.
But awesome. So thank you guys for responding to those. I'm going to retweet those. So we'll see if we can get some more responses. And thank you for answering those questions, Jonny. I really appreciate it. So that's going to wrap up today's episode. Episode, what 58. Holy shnikes, 58. Thank you so much for listening to everyone who sent in their questions. Try again next time. We didn't get any of those. Remember, you can listen to the show each and every week at switchrpg.com, or you can subscribe on your favorite podcast app. If you listen on an app, please give us a rating and review. I want to climb up those charts, so your support would be amazing.
Yeah.
And finally,
thumbs is up.
Thumbs
Gives us 5 stars.
All those things.
Yeah.
Don't do the thumbs down. That's terrible.
You can if you want.
No.
I won't like it.
No.
Actually, if you don't like me, you can give it 5 stars. If you do like me, you can also give it 5 stars.
Just give us 5 stars. This is unbelievable. Why are we begging for stars?
You don't have to beg. I'll do the begging.
All right, cool. And you can head over to Switchrpg for all your RPG needs for the Nintendo Switch. Until next time, peace out.